Okay, we are back in Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane for the grand finale. Case number 5, Attorney of the Arcane. I've killed people. They were usually criminals or bandits, but it still frightened me how unaffected I was by their deaths. It always came so easily to me. I was good at it, a little too good. People told me that taking the lives of others would be hard, but I never felt that uneasiness, not even once. It made me think that I was some kind of unfeeling monster. Maybe I am. But the time I spent with you filled me with more happiness than I could have ever dreamed of. Instead of taking lives, I could save them alongside you. I felt good to protect you. I felt needed when I knew you were relying on me. It made me feel like I was actually worth something to someone. And whenever I saw the light in your eyes, it filled my heart with a warm feeling that I've never felt before. But it was too good to be true, wasn't it? In the end, I failed you. I couldn't protect you, just like I couldn't protect my father. I don't understand. What did you ever see in someone like me? Tyrion? You still haven't gotten out of bed yet. It's almost noon. And she's a little upset about that. I think I just want to rest today. You've been saying that for the last 10 days. Someone is actually here to see you. You should really get out of bed. Is it time more, No? I'm still not really in the mood. Can you just send them away? That's a bit rude, but I suppose I can overlook it this time. Steelwind. As the prosecutor enters your room, you immediately leap out of your bed. You try to futilely clean your unkempt hair, but you're just making it worse. Tyrion, pants! Right, sorry. We'll give you some time to ready yourself. I knew he was in a rut, but I certainly didn't expect this. I know, I'm really worried about him. I empathize with the situation, but it's been a month already. Have you tried speaking with him? He has opened up to you before. I did, but I think he's really broken up over what happened with Ruby. She's basically the closest thing he had to family. I see. Perhaps he just needs more time. After taking some time to make yourself presentable, you exit your room to greet the prosecutor properly. Sorry about that. No, I suppose the fault is mine. I shouldn't have intruded. Anyways, what brings you here? It's a fantasy novel that you've been reading through. Recently, you've had a lot of time to read through your collection. Did you read that mystery novel I lent you? I did, but I kinda guessed the twist from the beginning. What? How? The author called a lot of attention to the vials she dropped. It was pretty obvious the nurse accidentally switched them. I guess fiction can't beat a real murder investigation for you. It's a stairway linked to the second story of your home. You haven't cleaned up the upper floor in a while, so it'd probably be best to make sure Steelwind doesn't wander up there. Oh, remember when I helped you move this bed from the flea market? Right. You recall her doing most, if not all, of the work. You didn't even know that carrying a bed single-handedly was humanly possible.
Repario Arcanum!
Okay, we can't leave. Here you go. Why are you showing this to me? Sorry, force of habit. So I guess I was supposed to have shown that to more people before now. Good to know. Are you doing well, Mr. Cuthbert? You seem... I'm fine. Of course. I just couldn't help but notice your absence. You haven't taken any other clients since Beatrice's trial. I'm going to be honest. I'm not even sure if I want to be a defense attorney anymore. What? I've spent my whole life training to be one, but I was only doing it because someone else told me to. Did you not enjoy it? You are very skilled at it. I don't know. I've been trying to take some time to think about everything, but you still haven't found any answers. Have you considered becoming a prosecutor? Your time as my stand-in made it clear that you have the ability to. A prosecutor. You would have never even considered that a year ago. But you understand now. There are criminals who need to be brought to justice. And despite how difficult she is to face, Steelwood never engages in outright corruption like the other prosecutors of the Crown. If you follow her example, you could fight injustice that way. But even if you did that, you'd just be following someone else's footsteps, just like before. Well, think about it. Please do. At this point, I could use all the help I can find. Have your injuries been healing well? Yes. Nightgrave's skill in necromancy is quite remarkable. I'm glad I introduced him to House Asclepius. So, Asclepius... I'm trying to remember... I think that's supposed to be like the Greek god of healing and doctors or something like that. It's the figure usually holding the caduceus staff, the staff that has the two snakes coiled around it. So in case you're wondering where that name is derived from, Asclepius. House Asclepius specializes in the study of necromancy. After Nightgrave's expulsion from the Academy, I thought it was only right that he be allowed to continue his studies. Right. He mentioned that he owed you a favor. It was only logical. It would be a waste to let someone of his talents fade into obscurity. You're glad Wallace was able to continue his studies. He clearly wants to use his talents to better society. He's definitely in a better place than you are right now. Even so, should you still be moving around like this? You should take some time off to recover. As much as I would like to, there's been a recent uptick in cases of mage blight lately. Mage blight. You recall hearing about that many times. If a mage exceeds their stamina by overusing their magic, it starts to affect their mind and send them into a violent frenzy. To make matters worse, the nobility has been trying to suppress information about these incidents. Right. It's not a good look whenever a mage goes on a murderous rampage. I was actually surprised to see you here, Celeste. Well, I can't just leave him alone anymore. He ticked off a criminal overlord. They're definitely going to send someone after him. And he really can't take care of himself right now. Celeste, your thoughts are leaking. Hey, get out of my head. What? It's nothing. I am surprised, though. Not many people slight the Eye Taker and live. He's known for taking swift retaliation against his enemies. We're hoping he's laying low after his plan with Beatrice fell through. That does match with the reports I've read. Supposedly, he's been absent from many of his enterprises. Either way, you're not looking forward to dealing with him. It's bad enough that you're already on the nobility's bad side. By the way, Tyrion, Ruby sent another letter. Do you want to? Put it with the rest. Right. Have you spoken to her since the trial? I see. That does explain her recent mood. Right, you two probably see each other a lot. I've prosecuted a few of her clients recently, but it's clear she's not nearly as threatening as before. Could we talk about something else? Of course, my apologies. Oh, tea's ready. Thank you. Some tea sounds lovely right now. It wasn't for you. I'm kidding. Right. Okay, apparently I was actually right on the money. Right, I was totally making it for you guys. She walks to the cabinet in your kitchen, and she takes out 2 more teacups. You guys better enjoy this. These are my last bags of... Whoa! As she walks over to you, she slips on a scroll case that you left on the floor. She regains her balance, but the teacups slip out of her hands. The boiling liquid is airborne and heading right toward your face. Figakwa. Celeste reacts immediately and points her index finger at the tea. Her magic takes hold and the tea freezes just inches from your face. She breathes a sigh of relief and she brings the tea back into their cups. You really need to clean this place. I'm your bodyguard, not your maid. Right, sorry about that. That was shape liquid, wasn't it? Yeah. Shape liquid's been added to the notes. So I believe this is the exact same spell that was from the first case. Oh, I never expected you to... I know, but it's just too convenient not to have. She's really opened her mind about learning new spells. You remember when you first met her. Back then, she only knew how to cast a Mage Blade. She hated magic back then. If you never imagined how diverse her repertoire would become. Another visitor? I'm already up, I'll check it. Well, whoever they are, I'm not giving up any more of my lotus tea. You open the door and don't see anyone, but there's a letter in your mailbox. You take a closer look at the envelope. It's sealed with candle wax. There's a crest on it. It's the insignia of House Pierce. You quickly open the letter and read it. Despite supposedly being written by a noble, the paper has been torn in half, but the message is clear. I hope you understand. I would have never contacted you unless I had no other choice. I know the truth behind McCoy's true parentage, and I'm aware of how vital this information is to you. As you know, my execution is scheduled for next month, and I'm running out of time. I want to trade this information with you. In exchange, you will grant me my freedom. Meet me in the private prayer room within the Grand Cathedral of the Scaled Lord at 2 p.m. You will save me from my fate, or else. What? So it actually does contain all the text there. It says the paper's torn in the middle, which could be an important clue, I don't know. Or it's just an aesthetic choice for the artist, one of the two. If he thinks for a sec that we'd even think of helping him, I know how you feel, but aren't these the answers you've been looking for? I don't care, we're not going to help him. That was never an option, but there's clearly more to this. I agree, how was he able to find out in the first place? The truth is, Celeste, I've also been looking into your parentage. What? Why didn't you say anything? I'm sorry, but I didn't want to raise your hopes. And I was apparently right to do so. I couldn't find any information regarding your birth. So if you couldn't find anything, how was Pierce able to? House Pierce is low in the political hierarchy. He doesn't have access to the resources I do. He does own the land the McCoy Tavern is on. But frankly, this whole situation is quite suspect. And why would he ask for my help? I was the one who indicted him in the first place. Even if I did agree to help him, it would be nearly impossible for me to get him an acquittal. He must be desperate. His execution is scheduled for next month, after all. It's possible that he reached out to Timora as well. Still, I can't believe he'd set up a meeting at the Grand Cathedral today of all days. Anger and sadness. Why? What's happening there? I'm sorry, but it's not my place to tell you. Arya, can I talk with Tyrion alone for a minute? Of course. I'm sure you have much to discuss. I actually also have business at the cathedral today. Can't believe he'd use that as an opportunity. I'll be taking my leave. I'm sorry. I'm sure this is just bringing up bad memories for you. We should meet with him. What? We're not going to help him, obviously, but I had an idea. He's probably really scared of his execution, right? And he's desperate enough to ask you for help. I suppose that's true. So think about how stressed he would be if you showed up and refused to help him. I could use the Eye of Horus on him. We can get the info we need without having to give him anything. But are you really okay with this? You'll have to see him again. Yeah, I'll manage. And it'll be worth it if we can finally get the answers I'm looking for. You've already gotten our hopes up, but there's no guarantee that he actually knows the truth. He could just be bluffing to get you to help him. But if he does know, you can't just ignore this. You need to verify his claims yourself. So this is the Grand Cathedral of the Scaled Lord? Have you never been here before? I thought you spent a lot of time in Rathlin. The Church of Bahamut wasn't that popular in my hometown, and I've never been the religious type. What about you? It never really caught on with me. And apparently my roots are more celestial than draconic. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Certainly has looks for it. Your thoughts are leaking again. Can you stop? I can't exactly turn it off, you know. Do those mental exercises I taught you. As you approach the Grand Cathedral, you see a large blockade guarded by legions of the King's Guard. It's closed off. Is there some kind of event going on? You recall Steelman mentioning that she was heading here as well. The nobility must be using the cathedral grounds for something. It might explain why Pierce wanted to meet you here. It's probably secluded from prying eyes today. Tyrion Cuthbert? As you approach the blockade, one of the knights notices you. He glances at you and Celeste. We've been expecting you. I see. You exchange glances with Celeste, but you both enter the cathedral grounds. The main building is massive, yet mostly empty. You only see a few people within, and most of them are quite familiar. You spot Leify and Miriam as you head further into the room. They both avoid eye contact with you, but it doesn't seem to be purely out of resentment. As soon as they see you, they move their conversation elsewhere. It's clear they still have mixed feelings about how you convincted their sister. In another corner of the room, you spot Lloyd von Sanctus speaking with another individual. She seems to be someone of equal standing. You feel like you've seen her somewhere before, but can't quite remember where. She looks a lot like that one Prince Alaric. As soon as you enter the room, von Sanctus flashes a quick look of disdain at you. You see him slowly move his conversation out of the room as well. And finally you see Lucio Steelwind speaking with his daughter, along with the two princes. They seem to be speaking with another individual that you haven't met before. When he notices you, his gaze narrows, and he stares at the two of you warily. Aster especially seems surprised to see you here. He and Lucio ask the prosecutor something, but you can't quite hear their conversation. When she responds, Aster raises his eyebrows and Lucio's expression darkens. What's going on here? This is a little awkward. Yeah. But we have some time before our meeting with Pierce. You want to do some sightseeing? Oh? Are you asking me out? We are literally already out. Sure, why not? I picked up this map from the entrance. We can use it to navigate through the area. Uh-oh. I'm also a little interested in what all these nobles are doing here. It is strange. Perhaps someone can tell you more. There are rows upon rows of seats for worshippers to sit at. At full capacity, this room could probably host thousands of people at a time. There's an altar at the end of the room. A religious figure would probably give a sermon here. I thought they speak at a pulpit and do ritual stuff at an altar, but maybe I'm mistaken. It's a stained glass window. A small ray of sunlight is shining through it.
Repario Arcanum!
Huh. All these people and not a trace of magic. I think I saw Arya over there. We should go say hi. As you approach the group, the Grand General and the unnamed nobles stare at the two of you. Hello. The nobleman looks at you and then at Celeste. He silently scans the two of you. It's as if he's trying to read something. He then walks away without a word. Rude. At this point, I'm kind of used to it. Mr. Cuthbert and Miss McCoy, I'm surprised to see you here. But he's happy. What? I thought you were the one who invited them. I'm sad to say that I didn't. Although I am happy to see you two nonetheless. What brings you to the Grand Cathedral today? We were actually invited by another noble. We have a meeting with him. What? None of the people here are allowed to invite guests. Why did the guards stop you? Oh, they said they were expecting us. What? It was Lord Pierce who invited them. Pierce? That little... And to think I granted his request for temporary release. I'm sure he meant no disrespect by it. He probably had his reasons. How can you say that? This is the day of your... He stops himself mid-sentence and clears his throat. Make no mistake, even if he is a dead man, I will have words with him about this. Huh. So these changed. But not enough to get new dialogue. Oh well. I have to ask, why are all these nobles gathered here? You've taken over the entire Grand Cathedral. As you ask that question, everyone seems to tense up. The prosecutor awkwardly looks at the two princes. Prince Alaric avoids eye contact with everyone and just stares at the ground. I'm sorry, but I'm not at liberty to tell you that. It's a matter of public safety. I see. It's a little strange, but you can read the room. Prying isn't the best thing to do right now. You said that Lord Pierce invited you here. For what reason? I can't really tell you that. You will tell us if it poses a threat to the nobles in attendance. Please, Lord Steelwind, there's no need for that. Mr. Cuthbert would never do anything to put anyone's life in danger. As you wish, Your Majesty. Is this the reason Pierce asked for temporary release? So notice the title changed. Interesting. So Pierce was temporarily released to attend to whatever this is. He could have met with you in his cell, but perhaps he wanted to be away from prying eyes. Then he came here for some reason. Lady Steelman, Your Majesty, the High Speaker is ready to speak with you. Oh, she's getting rather nervous. Wonderful, I've been looking forward to this all day. Shall we go together, Miss Steelman? Yes, Your Majesty, she would like to accompany you. Wonderful. We shouldn't keep him waiting. Okay. Scaled Lord, how does she plan to marry him if she can't even speak properly in his presence? Honestly, I also have something important to do. Good day to you, commoners. He's going towards the washrooms. I'll be taking my leave as well, but make no mistake, my men will be keeping an eye on you two. Everyone has left the room now. Perhaps you should move somewhere else. No, let's take in the sights, since they seem to keep changing, but not actually changing. Well, we tried. Let's go home. Oh, what are you doing here? Did you follow us? Not intentionally. Trust me, you're the last person we wanted to see today. Oh, that was Tyrion speaking. Hush now, Von Sanctus. If they are here by chance, it is because the cosmic balance wills it so. Not this again. Sorry, I don't think we met. I'm Coraline Sybil, Lady of the House Sybil. She's a diviner, apparently. So this is the head of the Fourth Pillar family. She's not quite what you were expecting. Between her, Lucio, Lloyd, and William, she definitely seems the most agreeable. For better or worse, you've gotten to know the other Pillar families decently well. It might benefit you to learn more about her. So you're the leader of House Sybil. What does your family do exactly? How are you this ignorant? Each of the four pillars, as you commoners call them, control different branches of the kingdom's government. House Steelman oversees national defense and law enforcement. House Frigg oversees economic development and finances. House Von Sanctus handles commerce, both local and international. And finally, there's House Sybil. We handle the kingdom's legislative and judicial branches. That would also mean you're responsible for our kingdom's justice system. That is correct. Oh, wonderful. Here we go. Lady Sybil, are you aware of the rampant corruption happening within your justice system? I suppose it's only inevitable that you'd see it that way. Am I wrong? I've been involved in plenty of court cases, and it's very obvious. All your courts care about is closing cases as quickly as possible. The system is corrupt to its core. The courts don't even try to hide it half the time. Yet you prevailed against this so-called corruption in each and every one of your cases. Only against every conceivable odd, and I can't be everywhere. Do you have any idea how many commoners are falsely convicted every day? If they are convicted under my system, it's only because the cosmic balance deems it so. What are you even talking about? The cosmic balance is the natural order of things. Under it, the guilty are punished while the innocent are protected. And yet, when a noble commits a crime, they only need to waive their influence to escape any consequences, all while their victims are forced to suffer in silence. Or worse, innocent commoners framed for the crime. Regardless of your personal feelings, our kingdom needs the nobility to govern the people. If they were held to the same standards as commoners, our society would surely collapse. You take back what you said about her being the most agreeable of the four pillars. So you think nobles like Pierce and Von Sanctus should just be allowed to get away with murder? Are you still sore about that? I'm sure you realized it by now. I've more than paid for what happened with Jason Wynn. His name was Justin Way. And if you were truly paying for your crimes, you would be in prison right now. Von Sanctus made a mistake, but removing him from his position would only create more suffering. Our government is barely recovering from the death of William Frega. Lavengard can't suffer the loss of another house leader this close to that. The way I see it, I think you nobles overstate your importance in our lives. We'd probably be fine without you. And I suppose you commoners are capable of coordinating macroeconomic initiatives. Oh, and I suppose you're also capable of engaging in diplomacy with other nations. Face it, as much as you are loath to admit it, ours is a symbiotic relationship. More like a parasitic relationship. So what? The conflict should just continue to suffer for the good of our nation? Lady Sybil, the people of the kingdom you claim to be protecting are suffering because of your inaction. My inaction? You place the blame on me, but what have you done? You were once a champion of your so-called justice, but you've stopped your work as a defense attorney. How many lives could you have saved in the month that you had spent on vacation? It's not his responsibility to solve your mess. You have no idea how much he suffered trying to do the right thing. Celeste. Perhaps you're right. He shouldn't bear that kind of responsibility alone. But every commoner has the ability to learn and practice law as you do, Mr. Cuthbert. So why are you one of the few commoners that do so? From what I've heard, you're one of the few people who defend mages of the common folk. Every other attorney wouldn't even consider taking them as clients. Perhaps the problem lies in the common folk, then. They are fully capable of rising to defend the so-called innocent, yet they do nothing. Never mind, this was clearly a mistake. Let's go, Celeste. Yeah. Finally, thank the Scaled Lord. You okay? Yeah, I guess I should have expected that. But I never expected someone with so much power to be so out of touch with reality. Come on, let's go somewhere else. We still have some time before the meeting. Sadly, that's the norm. People who are fairly powerful have almost no common sense, so to speak. I don't know if it's that the power corrupts them or if it just blinds them. The ceramic altar is at the end of this room. The sunlight is shining through this glass window. And that's it for this room, I guess.
Prepario Arcanum.
You find yourself in the Grand Cathedral's garden and stumble upon a strange statue. Wow, that's a little out of place. I mean, it's just having a good time. Give it a break, Celeste. What even is it? If my memory is correct, it's a Pegasus. Hello, friends! As you inspect the contemporary piece of artwork, you're startled by a familiar voice. So if you didn't actually notice, the Pegasus is wearing a party hat for some reason. And it looks like she's not alone either. Along with Iris, she seems to be accompanied by both of her sisters. Beatrice, aren't you supposed to be... dead? Sorry, I wasn't trying to say. No, it's perfectly understandable. You of all people know what was on my blood contract. But it appears the Lady of Discord isn't going to use me just yet. Isn't going to kill me just yet. Do you really have to do that? What? Never mind. Right. It's a little awkward speaking to the Fraga sisters after everything that's happened. But they don't seem hostile in all things considered. You preferred their company over Sybil's. Although, you're still not sure how you feel about speaking with a murderer, especially one that you indicted. I mean, we did that to Lloyd already, so... But Beatrice clearly knows more about demons and their kind than you do. You wonder if she knows anything about the Heavensborn. So, you seem to be doing well, all things considered. You mean how a demon now has ownership of my soul? Yeah, that. How can you be so calm about this? I must agree with Miriam. It's a little unnerving how nonchalantly you're treating this. I suppose it's the knowledge that everything is out of my hands now. There's something peaceful about it. That's certainly a positive way to look at it. You know, my offer still stands. I can try to help you. At the risk of your own life? Which part of the contract would you dispute anyways? You recall reading her blood contract in the courtroom that day. There was very little room for interpretation. It was airtight. The demon I signed that contract with was very meticulous about the details. I've spent the last 5 years looking for any possible loopholes, but I didn't find anything substantial I could use. Well, of course, you're looking for them, but you're blind. I didn't even think disputing it possible. I'm sorry. Don't be. You defeated me. I won't suffer your pity. I feel like we always end up randomly meeting like this, Iris. What brings you here? I requested to accompany Beatrice to this event. After all, I don't have many opportunities to enter a church like this. I can imagine. By the way, is your father still... Oh, if you're worried about him, we've already had a conversation about you. I don't think he'll be accosting you anytime soon. Oh, thank you. That seems too good to be true. How do you pull something like that off? He may look like a hardened criminal, but he's always had a soft spot for his family. He also owed me, and I have a way of making people see things my way. She's right about that. Before you do that... What is this thing, by the way? You called it a Pegasus earlier. It's a creature of divine origin. Many people believe that the angels of the upper planes rode these creatures into battle. I see. Do you feel some kinship to it? I can only feel its suffering. What? Its face is contorted into an expression of pure agony. It screams out in terror, yet no one can hear its pleas for mercy. Queen, I think he's broken. Someone ignorant of its plight has placed some sort of vain party hat upon its head. It's as if they're mocking its torment, like some kind of demon torturing a poor soul in the fields of Avernus. What are you even saying? I'm sorry. I need to take a moment to think about what I've just witnessed here. We all should. Alright, Tyrion, you go do that. Okay, after much reflection and soul-searching, we're back. So let's see what else is going on. Actually, looks like the only thing you can see here is the Pegasus.
Arcanum.
It's not even a magical hat. What a ripoff, man. I want my money back. Wait, if you're here, does that mean Marunath is also... Oh, heavens no. There's no way they'd let me bring him here, of all places. I left him at the entrance with the King's Guard. If he tries to escape, that knight over there is ordered to kill me. She points to a knight that's silently watching the sisters from afar. You're surprisingly calm about this. Please, I regularly deal with demons. This is nothing in comparison to that. You really haven't changed. I suppose not. Wait, does that mean you can't see right now? How did you know which statue I was looking at? It was a lucky guess. That grotesque statue certainly makes an impression on you. Oh, Marunath just spoke with me. He wanted me to let you know that he can smell your celestial stink from the entrance. Love you too, Marunath. Oh, wow. I probably shouldn't repeat his response to that. By the way, you seem to know a lot more about these things than I do. What exactly is a Heavensborn? What? Did you seriously not know? But you know how to issue a divine edict. That's a very advanced technique. It sort of came to me in the moment. What? Anyways, I'm quite surprised you don't know about your lineage. Perhaps my mother knew, but I lost her when I was really young. I see. You have my condolences. But to answer your question, a Heavensborn is a human whose bloodline has been touched by the gods. Gods? You mean like the Scaled Lord? No, I'm speaking of the actual gods. Beatrice, you can't say that here. Oh, come off it. What's the church going to do? Arrest me? Anyways, your blood has been touched by the Celestials of the upper planes. Much like my soul is bound to the abyssal hells, your soul is consecrated and tied to the heavens. The heavens. Is that why you're able to use the Eye of Horus? Is it some kind of angelic power? Make no mistake, though. If you find yourself under the wrong circumstances, even you can be sent to hell. The Church of Bahamut is prominent in Wyverngard, but this is the first time I've heard of the celestial gods. That makes sense. It's probably because of Wyverngard's bloody history with the theocracy of Lumina. The theocracy? Aren't they the nation northeast of us? Yes, the Luminites worship the celestial gods, while our people worship the ancient dragons. A few decades ago, our nation was locked in a bitter war with the Luminites. Even now, the Crown sees the celestial religions as a possible threat to our draconic culture. The Church has done its best to wipe out any religions that worship the Celestials. I see. But if your bloodline is blessed by the Celestials, does that mean that our kids will also be Heavensborn? I suppose so. I think my mother was also... Wait, what did you just say? Your kids. I asked if your kids will be Heavensborn. Oh, I must have misheard you then. So I sped through that so I couldn't see the caution, and they won't show it to you, so you'll have to pause the video and see it. I must have misheard you then. Wow. If only you were always this easy to lie to. Anyways, I'm a little curious about the theocracy of Lumina. If they worship Celestials there, would I find other Heavensborn there? Heavensborn aren't that common there either. Frankly, I'm surprised there's even one Heavensborn living in Wyrengard. How did your bloodline even find its way here? I suppose I don't really know. My mother never told me much about our ancestry. That makes sense. If the Church of Bahamut knew what you were, they would have definitely hunted you down. Great. The last thing you need is another faction that wants to kill you. Anyways, travel into and out of Wyrengard is technically illegal, and I doubt Lord Steelman would make an exception for you. He is an old veteran of the Great Luminite War. Veteran? Vet? Oh no. I hate the vet. I'm not going. You'll never take me alive. You all watch as Tracker frantically runs through the garden, barking loudly. Leafy chases after him as he runs towards someone. I should probably go help her. It's almost 2 p.m. anyways. We should head to the prayer room. Thank you for answering my questions, Beatrice. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to help you with your situation. Of course. Let's go, Celeste. Right. Try not to look so down. It's almost time for the main event. Why did you bring me here? Oh, who knows. Whatever you're planning to make me do, please. Please don't make me harm my sisters. You're in no position to make demands. You'll just have to see for yourself. Stay safe, Mr. Cuthbert. This statue, I can only feel its suffering. What? Its face is contorted to an expression of pure agony. It screams out in terror, yet no one can hear its pleas for mercy. Someone ignorant of its plight has placed some sort of vain party hat on it. It's as if they're mocking its torment, like some kind of demon torturing a poor soul in the fields of Avernus. What are you even saying? I'm sorry. Okay, so he just repeats everything. It's hoping to be a little different without everyone here. No one there. We came from the garden. Let's go to the common room. She's still there. It's not my role to speak such things. Are you ready? Yeah. At least, I hope so. If it becomes too much for you, don't hesitate to leave. I only need a few moments to look into his mind. No, I'm the one who asked you to do this. And I'm not going to leave you alone with him. Alright, if that's what you want. Tyrion? Yeah. Thank you for doing this. It really means a lot to me. Of course. This will finally give you the answers you've been looking for. It's not just that. You've done so much for me since I met you. You got me acquitted, you helped me work through my grief for my dad. Feels like I can never repay that. What are you talking about? For the past few months, all I've been doing is relying on you. I genuinely don't know what I'd do if you weren't a part of my life. I should tell him. Tell me what? Get out of my head! You're really bad at guarding your mind. You know you can tell me anything, right? Arya? How long have you been standing there? Well, I knew you'd be here around this time. I wanted to wish you luck. But then you two seem to be in the middle of something. I didn't want to interrupt. Don't stop at my account. I'll just get out of your way. As she awkwardly skitters away, you see something fall out of her pocket. Arya, you dropped your runestone. As she picks up the runestone, she accidentally activates it. An image of a piece of evidence appears for a brief moment, but she quickly hides it. But not before Celeste sneaks a peek at it. Oh, I see. Celeste, don't just invade her privacy like that. Don't be like that, I'm really happy for you. Thank you. Good luck. The party really wants to know what you saw, but one of you has to exercise some self-restraint. Anyways, let's go meet with him. Yeah, let's do this. I can tell him after. You finally arrived. I suppose this means you finally decided. Wait, you two? We got your letter. Letter? What letter? You sent us a letter, Pierce. It said that you knew who Celeste's parents were. I did send that letter, but not to you two. What? I don't like this. And so the final act begins. I've been waiting for this. What the hell are you doing? Have you gone mad? No! What are you doing? Stop! Lady Steelwind? What are you... Is this also the will of the cosmic balance? That one was. Come on, just tell us the truth, Pierce. You were the last person I would give this information to. He's getting more and more stressed. Just a little more and you'll... As you interrogate him, you suddenly hear a loud crash outside the room. What was that? I'm going to take a look and see what's going on. What? Are you just going to leave us here? He's right. We don't know what's going on, so there was a flicker of fear there. I didn't see anything else in that very brief moment. We should stay together. Don't worry, there were 2 guards outside, and they're from the King's Guard. You'll be fine. That's not what I'm worried about. But I'll trust your judgment. What? It's been almost 10 minutes since Celeste went to investigate the noise. Pierce seems extremely on edge. He's sitting at one of the tables and impatiently tapping its surface with his finger. So, you never intended to send the letter to me. Who did you send it to, then? Oh, as if I would ever tell you that. Anger, fear, and sadness. So are we able to pull it up real quick? I know the truth behind McCoy's true parentage, so just to show you that her name explicitly was there. Luckily for you, he should have accumulated enough stress by now. What? Why are you looking at me like that? Even if I wasn't the intended recipient, you said that you knew who Celeste's biological parents are. Who are they? Are you seriously focused on that now? It's far too important. It's my only bargaining chip. Answer the question, Pierce. What was that? Somnia. Basically put you to sleep. What? What is this? A blue luminous vapor enters the room. As soon as it makes contact with you, you suddenly feel extremely fatigued. Damn it, it's a sleep spell. So, you can see its various stuff there, but no, it's conjuration magic. I miscalculated. No, if they got here, that means... Celeste. You try your hardest to stay conscious, but the spell is too powerful. You feel your body slowly dropping to the ground. No. Beatrice? She entered the prayer room at 2:30.